Exactly.
Hey, Chuck, when you were talking about clowning and the whole thing, really describing the mind state of a young African American male in the community, do you really blame him for his mind state, or how are you looking at that?
I blame it.
Like a grown man. He's saying something about the grown man acting like a child. Do you think society at large is the blame for his being misled and misguided like that, or is it his fault, or who do we focus on, and or are you trying to make somebody wake up, or how is this all working? You take Tupac out there, who started out with Digital Underground. He was on a funk trip, and then he started thug life and representing all the cats in the hood. Right. And the music industry got to him, and fame, and the whole thing, man. He ended up in the pen.
Well, Pac, to me, like I said, Digital Underground and Pac, we rolled them out on their first national tour, 1990. I remember Pac and Tretch, they broke in on the tour as rookies, carrying bags and, being roadies. That's what you had to do in your first year in. You didn't pop to be a superstar or on the first, thing. So, right. Pac, earned his stripes like everybody else. And he always was smarter than everybody around him. Now, that's one public perception that I don't think got across, that he was smarter than everybody around him. But people's parents also tell you, they don't tell you corny things just to be corny. They say, hey, watch the crowd you running with.
Right.
That ain't something that just popped up out of, just because I popped out of the clear blue sky. No, watch the crowd you running with. Pac was a concerned person reaching down in the trenches to pull people up.
Right.
But there was so many in the trenches, they end up pulling them down because you didn't have enough people to pull him up. So in that particular scenario, how do I look upon it? I looked at America favored the thug side of Pac instead of the militant side of Pac that he first came out with. And then even when Pac was in Poetic Justice, people was quick to say, oh man, it was like the movie was corny and he was in a corny role, when he had a job and he was trying to stay right, and they gave him more props to being the Psycho Kid and Juice. And then on what's the one? Above the Rim. And when he was trying to do something straight, every black, a lot of black cats was saying, oh man, he came corny in that one because it was a corny flick. And my whole thing is like this. It's like, being on the plus side is like climbing a mountain. It takes energy. It takes effort. Being negative goes along with the American program because they always been on some killer nigga-ish.
One of the things about Pac, though, just because you brought him up, one of the last things that he did was he held that press conference, him, Hammer, and Snoop.
Right.
And he said he was going to take all his people and start getting them all politicized.
Exactly.
He said, man, we're gonna take this Thug Nation and start getting them to go vote.
Right.
And then, 2 months later, he was out of here.
Right. Well, one thing, Pac didn't kill himself.
Yeah.
So it wasn't suicide. And so, it was, when people talk about, well, he was this, he was that, he didn't kill himself.
And plus,
he got killed.
They got some article in Smoke and Gun about the FBI surveillance that has now been released on him.
Right.
That they was following him and Easy. So he was on some next. I think they were scared of. They were scared of Pac.
Yeah, of course, because Pac had, like I said, he brought more sense to the game of anybody in his age category.
Right.
He came from a background that actually wasn't. It wasn't just militant, just an action, but it was. It was a lot of heady stuff. But he kind of felt. And then this is a trap that a lot of young people fall in. It's like, well, the only way I could communicate with a lot of heads is I got to act and be like them. But see, that's a trap that sometimes if you try to act and be like them so much, instead of you pulling cats up, the whole scene could be pulling you down and in without nobody pulling you up.